Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show is brought to you by DKI Canada. Across the street, across the country. He racked up victories on 4 different pro tours. Former PGA regular David Morland IV. And he might not be done yet. Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show. Coming up! Our guest today was born in North Bay, grew up in the Toronto area, a 2-time Ontario junior champion, played college at Kent State. He was runner-up at the Mid-American Invitational, a 2-time All-American honorable mention, Canadian Tour Rookie of the Year, 2-time winner on the Nationwide Tour. He qualified second for the PGA Tour in 2000, played 4 years on the PGA Tour, qualified twice for the U.S. Open, a member of the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame. Welcome to the program, David Morland IV. Great to have you here, Dave.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it.
So, first of all, tell us about your background. What was it like in the Morland household?
So both my parents were school teachers. My grandfather, great uncle were really good amateur players. Both of them won the Ontario Amateur individually. They won the Better Ball at Oakdale, which has always been a big event back in the 60s. My dad and I actually won the Better Ball here at Oakdale. So here we are 30-some years later and now teaching at Oakdale in between playing events. Okay,
so why the 4th? Tell us about that.
So my dad is David Morland III, and he played some professional golf, and he was still playing when he was 60. I think he qualified for a Canadian Tour event, and they would see his scores and go, "What's wrong with Morland?" I go, "That's my dad." So that's why I've always gone by the 4th. Love you, Dad.
Yeah. So, as a young lad, I understand you played a little bit of hockey and other sports, of course. Was hockey ever the goal for you?
Well, when you're a kid, absolutely. But, at 5'7", I had to make a choice. And grade 10, I was getting bounced around pretty good. So I think I made the right choice sticking to golf.
You mentioned both your dad, your uncle, or your grandfather and your uncle, both provincial champs. We have a clip of your dad talking about how you took to the game. Let's play that, Vic.
He was 4 years old. I lived in Toronto, and I would take him out to the golf course. He wouldn't play now. He putted on the putting green, and the owner at that time of the golf course often would putt him for dimes. And he became really proficient for a 4-year-old putting. And I'd take him out on the golf course as well. And he had a hickory shaft 5-iron, which he would hit around, and that's when he started actually playing.
Okay, do you still have the hickory shaft 5-iron?
I don't, but I do remember, being a young kid at that age and going out and putting and shagging balls for my dad. So good memories, and came from a golfing family. We grew up at Uplands, which the practice facility was up Ski Hill, and we'd get dropped off at 7:30 in the morning, and we'd play 54 holes a day. We had a great junior program. They supported us, and we had some good players come out of there.
Up and down those hills must have got you in pretty good shape.
Yeah. And with all the hills, you hit every shot. For a short golf course, you hit every club in your bag, every lie, all the side hill, downhill, uphills. Really enjoyed growing up there.
Yeah, it sounds like you won a few dimes on your way. But when did you decide that perhaps I can make a living out of this?
It's such a small percentage that do get to the PGA Tour. So, yes, you believe that you're going to get there, but, whether you do or you don't, you never know. So even in college, as a 2-time All-American and played 3 years in South America, 2 years in Asia, and 8 years on the Canadian Tour before I got my PGA Tour card. So I always believed that I was going to make it, but, there's no guarantees.
No guarantees. So you mentioned you're 5'7". So is that a disadvantage for a golfer? I know hockey, obviously, it's a disadvantage. But what about the pro golf game? You don't see a lot of shorter golfers.
No, but you've even got Rory's only 5'10", but he's one of the longest hitters on tour. So the great thing about golf, there's many ways to skin the cat, right? So for me, I was never going to overpower the golf course, but proficiency with irons and distance control and have a better short game. So that's where I had to excel. I drove the ball pretty straight, hit a lot of fairways, good iron player, and made lots of putts like I was 4.
That's where all the money's always made, eh? That's where those dimes are made. So tell us about, you won the Ontario Junior title a couple times. What was your first big title, and what do you remember those times? Well,
the first big provincial title was the father and son at age 12 with my dad. Yeah. So that was first provincial title, and then won the juvenile at 16 and Ontario Junior at 17. And I really wasn't looking to go to college until after grade 13, started getting recruited, and Herb Page kind of stood up head and shoulders above the rest and decided to go to Kent State. And it was probably one of the best decisions I could have made.
You mentioned Herb and Kent State, factory for Canadian golfers. I guess the fact that Herb was Canadian might have something to do with it. But tell us about his recruiting and why so many great golfers have gone there. I mean, Mackenzie Hughes, Taylor Pendrith, Corey Connors, yourself, unbelievable, right?
Yeah, it's so at the time there was a couple of Canadians that were there. Chuck Crawford, which was a good amateur from Aurora, and Paul DeCorso, who recently passed away. He was president of Titleist Canada for a little bit. So I had a couple people that I knew, but when it came to recruiting with the other schools, Herb stood out head over heels. And, he was there for 43 years and created a dynasty. So as I said earlier, my parents, both school teachers. So, it wasn't like we were flush with money. But I turned down full ride to Northwestern and Illinois to go to Kent State on a half scholarship plus out of state. So it worked out to be about 2/3 of a scholarship. But you write down all the pluses and minuses, and Herbie was the difference. And it wasn't that the school didn't have the 5 scholarships, but the conference only allowed 2 scholarships. So for a D1 school with 2 scholarships, we were ranked 11th in the country, D1. And that's a product of Herbie and his recruiting and the players that he was able to bring in.
Give us a good Herbie story.
Some of them can't be repeated, but one of the ones that I remember was we were playing in Kiwa Island, and back then in the late 80s, we had the polyester kind of Sansabelt pants. I don't know if you remember those, but on leather, they would be very slippery. And team was all loaded up, and we get to the golf course, and I'm like, did someone grab my clubs? Because I was in the washroom. And they're like, no. And my nickname was La Bamba. La Bamba, I can't believe you left your clubs. So he starts driving back to the condo, and we're swerving, and I'm hitting my head on one side of the car, hitting my head on the other side of the car. But no, lots of great stories. I think part of the reason that he was so successful is that he cared so much. All his players were still on a group chat over 30 years after playing for him. And we try to keep in contact with him. He, 2 weeks ago, just got released or cleared of pancreatic cancer. Wow. We think he's got 9 lives. He's beaten the Widowmaker a handful of years ago, and then they caught the pancreatic cancer and an early stage. We're able to do a whoopee procedure, and we're able to clear it up. So thank goodness he's still around and kicking. He's a fighter, and we love him.
Does he remind you of yourself, a kind of a smaller guy, scrappy and
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he always taught us to grind. Didn't matter how good or bad you're playing, you shouldn't be able to tell the difference. If you're going to shoot 80, you're going to grind it out to shoot 79. Because the day that when you're not playing good, if you can grind it out, good things are going to happen down the road.
When did you decide to turn pro, and what prompted that?
So I turned pro in fall of 91, but basically 92 was my first year. And I think I won our conference championship, the MAC conference, and had a good junior and senior year, and went down to Florida, played the mini tours, had a little bit of success, and went up and played the Canadian Tour in the spring. So that one's in South America. Went over for the British. Be going next month. The senior British is back at Sunningdale, so I'm going to go over towards middle of July and try and qualify for that again. But still trying to play, do some Monday qualifying, and then Monday qualifying on Champions Tour, and then do some coaching at Oakdale.
Well, this is, we saw some pictures of you after you turned pro, made a big splash on the Canadian Tour. Rookie of the Year in 1992. You won an event, made some money. How important was that experience up in Canada?
Yeah, it was real important. So I think we were talking about this earlier when we played last week, that, what was the difference between, being stuck on Canadian Tour, not being able to get your PGA Tour card. So PGA Tour, we've got 3 separate sites, first, second, and final stage. And I kept on getting stuck at second stage, and did a corporate outing with my coach, Brian Mogg, and Peter Jacobson was up there, and he's watching me hit balls. He's like, "Why aren't you on tour?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "I keep getting stuck." He goes, "You belong out there." And I think I won 2 weeks later on the Canadian Tour in September, and then I got my tour card that fall. And once I got through second stage, made it by a couple shots, I cruised through finals. And, whether it was self-belief, a little extra, from an outside source that was a veteran that was very successful out there, it was nice to hear it from him.
Yeah, and we've had Peter on the show, great guy, and I don't think he'd be blowing smoke up your butt, right? I think he's telling you the truth.
No.
He saw some talent.
No, he's legit, and one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet. And kind of took me under my wing when I was out there, and great mentor.
So you had 2001, great job at the Canadian Open, finishing 5th, which included a record-tying round. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, it was funny. So I had my brother on the bag, Jonathan, and, there's certain golf courses that are going to set up better for me, more of a shot maker's golf course than, the long bombers, wide open fairways. So I knew Royal Montreal. I played there in 97, knew the golf course, and I'm like, this just is perfect for me. If I'm going to win a Canadian Open, this is where it's going to be. And all year I talked about winning the Canadian Open. And, opened up second round 63 and got myself, tied for the lead, I believe. And, got within one on the back 9. Verplank made some birdies on the back and got ahead. But, it was a great showing.
What's that pressure like for a Canadian in contention? We saw it later on with Mike Weir. in contention down those, down the stretch. What's that like for a Canadian at a Canadian Open?
Yeah, Weirzy always grew up wanting to win Augusta. You heard the story of him building a locker for his green jacket. So when I was a kid, I worked the media room at the Canadian Open, and I remember Greg Norman coming in and shooting 62 at Glen Abbey with his 00 Tour Edition golf ball. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And I'm like, I want to be out here. And I think at Glen Abbey on the front nine, I shot 29 with a hole-in-one on 7, bogey in the last on the 9th hole. So I think I was 8 under through 8 holes. But that was my low side for the Abbey.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Not an easy track, as we all know. Yeah. So what? And finally, a Canadian broke through. Nick Taylor finally got through, and I think he did it at Oakdale, did he not? And that's
he did.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking. Like I'm looking at the 18th green right now where he holed it. Yeah, it was pretty special. At some point, someone's got to break it, right? The Leafs are kind of in the same boat. At some point, they're going to eventually break it, right? So to watch him do it, Dave Markle, another Kent State guy, was caddying for Nick. So there's Kent State players everywhere. And to watch him make that was pretty exciting.
Well, so we have such this short season, relatively speaking, in Canada, but yet look at the Canadians on the tour. Taylor, Hughes, Pendrith, Connors, Hadwin, 7 or 8 guys, Silverman. There's 7 or 8 guys on the tour right now. Why is Canada so proficient at this game that we don't get to play as often as some people do?
Well, growing up for me, you see a lot of kids now, younger kids, get burned out from their sport. And most of the professional golfers that you're going to see either played hockey, they skied, they did other sports. Now with technology, with TrackMan indoors, it really doesn't make a difference whether you're hitting balls outside or in a simulator. Short game, it might take a little while to get back up to speed. But as for working on your swing mechanics, you can get just as much done in a simulator as you can out on the range.
Have you got any hot proteges over there at Oakdale right now? Some guys that you think that there's some potential here?
Yeah, we got a couple 5-year-olds that have got some potential. No. Yeah, we've got some okay golfers. We'll see. We've got an 8-year-old that's going to be going to the drive, chip, and putt. So,
wow.
Yeah, Harry, he's a little beast. I wish I was his size. But I'm enjoying the teaching side. I was very fortunate as a kid where my grandfather introduced me for my first lessons with George Knudsen and Al Balding, who were Grandpa's friends. And, just very fortunate to have them that instilled basic fundamentals. So now it's my turn to pass my knowledge on for the next generation.
George Knudsen, Al Balding. I mean, those two great Canadian names in golf, along, of course, with Gary Cowan and some others. But I got to play with Gary when actually her and Marlene Stewart Street. I played with Gary and Marlene Stewart Street at the same time and with the same 18 holes. It was such an incredible honor for that to happen. And they dissected my putting pretty good. Accelerate to celebrate. That's what I remember.
Both great people.
Yeah, for sure. So what was it like to play with Tiger Woods in his heyday? I mean, what an experience that must have been for you.
I think
good or bad, I don't know.
Oh, it was awesome. I think one of the best comments was, some of the newer generation was, man, I wish I got to play with Tiger in his prime. And David Duvall goes, no, you don't. I mean, he was an absolute beast. And when he was on and healthy, You know, it wasn't necessarily always ball striking. It was how good his mind was. And from inside 10 feet, he made everything. You know, it's kind of like Jordan Spieth when he went through his domination there from inside 20 feet. He was the best putter by far. But Tiger's short game, his mental strength, that was head and shoulders above the rest of us.
So you're paired with Tiger Woods, and what's it like for you? You know, because the crowds are pretty big, and it's something that you're not used to, I'm sure. But so what's that experience like?
It was probably the most nervous I was on the first tee in the last round with them. But once we settled down, you know, it was fine. It was the only time in my career, though, where I thought that I was going to have to change the way that I played from a routine standpoint. Normally, if I'm on the green and I hit one 3 or 4 feet by the hole, I'd normally mark it. But, you know, if Tiger was about to putt, he makes it. You got 10,000 people running to the next tee trying to make a 3 and 4 footer. So it's a little more distracting. It didn't end up being too big of a deal. You know, I legged him up there for the most part where I was able to tap him in. But, yeah, it's the only time that you're actually thinking that you're going to change the way you play your game because of another player.
Yeah, I guess that would be pretty, you know, if you had to mark your ball and waited and then everybody kind of all this action going, it's going to be tough to make that a little 3 or 4 footer, right?
It'd be kind of like, well, basketball players deal with it with at the free throw line. But, you know, in golf, everyone's pretty still, pretty quiet for the most part. But, yeah, it was just going to be a different situation to deal with.
You talked about grinding. So you had a couple of years on the tour, but then you had to go back to the web.com tour, where you picked up a couple of wins. You know, tell us about having to go back and then qualify again. Was that hard?
You know, it's just part of the golf journey, right? There's only so many people that keep your card. And the great thing about having the Korn Ferry Tour is that you get to graduate to the tour for the first time, or you get to work your way back up. And so in 2002, finished just outside 150 and had to go back to the Korn Ferry for 2003. And I played good the first 2 international events. I finished 3rd and 6th in Australia and New Zealand. So I got off to a good start. And I went back to my sports psychologist, Jim Fannin. And I didn't tell my brother who was caddying for me that I went back to him. And that was in Raleigh in May. And ended up winning wire to wire with 7 rain delays in that time period. And one of the days, no, that was a 4-day event. But we had 7 rain delays. We didn't know if we were even going to play the last round. So when it came to, you know, turning the brain on and off, you had to be very patient that week. And, you know, as my brother said, he goes, I could tell that there was a different frame of mind. He goes, I knew you were going to win this week. And, you know, it's, I wish I had that mentality every week. But, yeah, that was a good win. It got me off to a good start. And I think I was 5th on the money list. I think top 20 get their tour card. And my daughter was born in August, and I took a handful of weeks off. And when I came back, I missed 5 of the next 10 cuts. And all of a sudden, I found myself 17th on the money list, going to the Tour Championship, and, you know, the possibility of not getting my tour card back. So needed to play well at the Tour Championship and to get her done.
And you made an interesting choice at the Tour Championship. At the final hole, you decided, you know, you were going to trust like Austin Powers. This is so awesome. Was that Jim Fannon's idea? I don't think so, right?
No, right.
There's your daughter.
And there's my daughter. Yeah. So, the decision, second round fell on Halloween, and always want. I enjoy playing golf, and if you can't enjoy what you're doing for a living, then don't be doing it, right? So I told my brother that if I was under par the second day on 18, I was going to change into Austin Powers. And he goes, "You're a friggin' idiot. You got your tour card on the line, and you're going to do this?" And I'm like, "Yep." So I was 2 under going to 18. I think I hit a 5-iron about 15 feet, went behind the bushes and changed into the Austin Powers outfit. And in the one picture, I don't know if you can tell, but the jacket's actually pretty baggy. And the first time I go to pull the putter back, it gets stuck in the jacket. So I had to kind of regroup, back up, and pull the jacket back, and in the whole bit. It was perfect. And the best part is that I made the 15-footer. So my brother couldn't give me.
He couldn't give you a hard time. So there you go. And you get your card and back in business again. So you had some solid years in Web.com tours, pretty impressive, and a lot of fun on the tour, obviously. So, but you had a serious setback, a car accident. What happened?
So we were playing down at the Mayakoba in Mexico, and we flew back for the Honda Classic, and in a rental car in Fort Lauderdale, we're on a highway, and we came up on a traffic jam, and Range Rover hit us going 55 miles an hour with us at a stop. And wife had her neck fused, shoulder surgery. I had back surgery and shoulder surgery, torn labrum, and set me back for about 4 years. I didn't know if I'd play golf again. And it was scary, but it could have been way worse. You know, a lot of accidents where people don't get a second chance. So it was tough, but recovered. Met a guy, Scott and I, who had Robo Golf Pro, and he asked me what I was doing in 2016. I said, "Well, I'm doing a little teaching." He says, "Why don't you come up to Toronto and teach at Glen Abbey on the Robo Golf Pro? It's a robotic swing trainer." I was like, "Okay." So I got on this thing for about 30 minutes and hit my first golf ball. I was like, "Wow, that felt okay." And then started practicing, and I was like, "Okay, my back doesn't hurt. Let's see if we can, give this a go." And knock on wood, the back's been pretty good since the surgery. So I was able to continue playing.
Well, you bounced back incredibly well. You've qualified for some European Senior Tour events, and you're qualifying now for some Champion Tour events. And I got a chance to see in person a couple of weeks ago, but this is this week at the 84th PGA Seniors Championship in Canada at Manitou Ridge. Your second shot on the par 5 18th. Obviously, beautiful shot. You knew it was good, but did you know it was good enough for an albatross?
So when I hit it, I knew it was going to be close, or I thought it was going to be close. But didn't find out until we got up there. I didn't see the ball on the green. I'm like, did it go over the green? And I'm like, no, it didn't look like it landed past the hole. It should be fine. And there she was in the hole. So, but yeah, like I said, I've had lots of hole outs. I think I've had 19 hole outs for hole-in-ones. And this spring, I had a 5-day stretch where I holed 4 shots from right in the 146 to 150 range. So I like holing out. But first time on a par 5, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I don't know, but it looked like about 180 yards or something like that. Is what do you figure that
193 into the wind, 4-iron.
193. That's a good 4-iron.
Yeah, playing about 200.
Wow, that's awesome.
So,
Yeah, so you still got it, my man. A great honor a few years back. You were inducted into the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame, class of 2018. How cool is that?
Yeah, it was pretty special, growing up in Toronto and working at Aurora Highlands and playing out of King Valley. It's nice to come home and be recognized.
We actually have a little bit of your acceptance speech. Vic, let's run that.
Through their connections in golf, George Knudsen, Al Balding, Ben Kern. I got my first golf lesson from Al Balding at age 11. And I worked with George Knudsen from age 14 to 18. And the one thing that they taught me was you never do anything at the expense of balance. And that's on the golf course and off the golf course. And my balance is sitting right over there.
Yeah, balance is very important. And obviously, you brought up all those names. We talked about that earlier, but Canadians, really important part of your, who you are and where you came from. And I know that's really important for you to, to stay on that and wave that Canadian flag and wear the red whenever you can.
Yeah, still mark my ball. If you saw the ball that I held up, still got the Canadian flag on it. So try to represent Canada to the best of my ability wherever I'm playing.
So we get a chance to play with you last couple weeks ago at the Aurora Sports Hall of Fame tournament and dialed in again. Of course, you're playing with a couple nice guys here, Tony and Braden from Newmarket Hyundai. And this wasn't an albatross, but it was a tap-in eagle. And of course, we won the tournament. And you know what? David Morland IV, you had a little bit to do with that. Look at this. This is your second shot on the par 5. And this is within like 4 or 5 feet. And you just got off the cart.
I get lucky once in a while.
Yeah. And there's the winning foursome.
There you go. How about that too?
Yeah. I think perhaps I might have made one putt after you gave me the line, but it was a good time. Great event too. Nice to see all the former Leafs there, and it was a good time.
Yeah, it was funny seeing Mike Palmatier. He was my neighbor right on Aurora Highlands for many years, and it was good to see him.
And you gave me a little lesson on the course there too. That little thing with the hands. I've been doing it, and it's made a big difference. As you mentioned, it's going to give me some more length, and it has for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. Get that.
Yeah,
club
now
vertical.
I just have to straighten it. Yeah, exactly. Now I just have to straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, it's what's your favorite memory so far from your pro golfing years?
Mm-hmm. Winning the Canadian Open would have been, the cherry on
something
top. But I played solid. It's one of the other prouder moments would have been going back to Q school after I lost my card my rookie year, and I had to go back to finals in California. And 2 years prior, Mike Weir won, shooting 25 under par. And so at the time, I think top 20 guys got their tour card back, and the 2 years prior, 13 under was the number to get your tour card. But I went in with the mentality of shooting 25 under for the week for 6 rounds of golf. And my sports psychologist and we broke it down to where this became an attainable goal. And that's 4 under a day. One day you got to shoot 5 or better. And we broke that down. That's 2 under for each 9 holes. You got 2 par 5s on each side. Make 3 birdies each side. That's only making 3 out of 9 putts, 33%. And it allows for 1 bogey on each side. So it allows for mistakes. And then we broke down, well, how are you going to make 3 birdies? Hit fairways, greens, and make 3 putts.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, a goal that seemed pretty mundane or going to be difficult to do on the hardest stage. If you don't perform this week, you don't have a job next year. You're out of work. So this was the one time a year deal, and through 5 rounds, I was 30 under par. And the last day, I didn't play any different, and I shot 72. And I guess, the moral of the story was that the highest goal that I set for myself, I'd surpassed. And you see this a lot with athletes. They might set their goal to win on the PGA Tour, and then all of a sudden they go into a slump, or, they plateau. And, so my moral is set your goals high enough to where you don't think you can achieve them, and break it down to where baby steps over a long period of time, you can get there. So that was probably one of my prouder moments for, playing under extreme pressure conditions. But the coolest thing was that I could have shot 88 the last round and still got my tour card. Now that was a good feeling.
Yeah, but golf is a different sport. It's the only sport like that where you just absolutely have to perform or you're out, right? I mean, you can get invited to tennis events. You can get invited to, you got tenure in some sports, that type of thing. But in golf, no, man, you got to perform or you're out. Of course, then live comes along, things change a little bit. But that's. What do you think of that that whole setup?
You know what? Some good came out of it from a standpoint that the PGA Tour is now playing for more money. Right. The bad side of it is that we don't have the best players in the world playing against each other each week. The PGA Tour is still a good product, but it'd be better with everyone there, with your John Rahms and DJs. But hopefully they can work things out and move forward. But it definitely, put a damper, and I think Rory was a little upset with being PGA Tour, and now all of a sudden they're trying to work things out. So he was poster boy there for the last couple of years, and I think you're seeing with some of the interviews where he's being a little less available, and taking some more time for himself.
Yeah, and I can see that. You know what I mean? It's like he's the guy who's frustrated. He's sacrificed. He's like some of the guys. They sacrifice and they say, "Okay, I'm not going to take the big money. I'm going to play it through. I'm going to do it the right way. Do it the way I was taught." And and now he's Yeah,
but if you look at the money that Scotty Scheffler's making now, he wouldn't have been making that if Liv wasn't here.
True.
So
True.
The purses have grown. I think they needed to kind of be compared with some of the other sports, the money that guys are making in other sports. But that's the cool thing about this game is that you can't take an amateur and go out and play in the NHL on the ice. You could do a fantasy camp or something like that. But, during the tournament, Pro-Am, you get to play possibly with the number one player in the world, and with handicaps, are able to, even have a fun little bet, or, can compare yourself to the best players in the world. That's the great thing about this game. So whether you're 4 years old or 90-some years old, there's always a place, whether you're playing with your grandkids or, my dad's 77, get to play a round of golf with him. It's a game for life. Absolutely love it. My granddaughter, about a month ago, and it's not me prompting her, "Pa, can we go to the golf course?" Absolutely. So that's pretty special.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Vic has a question. Producer Vic, take it away.
David, take me back to you golfing with Tiger. The gallery is huge. It seems that the laneway you tee off is really narrow. My mindset would be don't hit the gallery. What is your mindset as you're about to tee off?
So it's funny. So playing all the Pro-Ams that we play in, we're usually playing a golf course that they're a member at. And every amateur is going to tell you, you don't want to hit it here. Don't hit it. There's trouble over here. And I said, from a pro standpoint, we just want to know where we want to go. We don't care where the trouble is. You just tell me where you want me to hit this. The mind doesn't know no. So if you say, don't see a purple elephant, you got to see a purple elephant before you can not see it. So we always positive affirmations where we want to go. So when it comes down to, crowd being around you, we don't see them. It's your focus. I'm focusing on the smallest target possible. So, number one at Torrey, there's 2 bunkers out there. I'm going to aim left green side, left side of the green, and just swing it at my target. And that's all you can do. But I got a funny Darcy Tucker story playing at the Canadian Open, just what you're talking about. So Darcy's gotten traded from Tampa, and we're playing the Celebrity Pro-Am at the Canadian Open. And again, we actually got about 10,000 people that lined down both sides of the fairway, just like what you said. And Darcy hits this rope hook as a lefty. And it was like the Matrix. The crowd was kind of going back in slow motion. Right? And Darcy looks at me, goes, holy smokes. He goes, I play in front of 20,000 every night. He goes, that's the most nervous I've ever been. And we've been friends ever since.
And when you guys walk the course with other professionals, do you guys talk? Do you guys chirp each other? Do you anything, or is it just you and your caddy talking?
I think it depends on who we're playing with. If you're playing with friends, you're going to have normal conversation. It's getting more business-like out there where you're playing for a lot of money, that you're going to see maybe a lot less chatting, but it depends on the player and the personality. If it was Trevino, he's talking 24/7. If it's Fuzzy Zeller, he's talking 24/7. If it's Nicholas, I think it's going to be a little bit more quiet. It just depends on the player's personality. I chat a bit.
Have you ever had a player tell another player to shut the F up? Or
maybe over either a ruling or, someone getting in someone's face. But yeah, I'm sure someone's told someone to back off. Don't talk. Let me do my business.
Right. Yeah.
I haven't had to deal with it. So.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing. Yeah. Okay, so we're partnered with a group called Believe, Become, Be You. It's a mentorship program for kids 10 to 17, inspired by the late Sean Gindy. It's led by Papa Jack. What's a message that you would have for kids who might be struggling to find their way today, David?
Man, just, it doesn't matter where you come from. Just believe in yourself and hard work, good things happen. It's, you're your own destiny, and it doesn't matter where you start. Believe in yourself, work hard, and achieve your goals.
And have a little fun.
And have some fun. Enjoy what you do, Yeah. If you're not enjoying something, find something else. Everyone's good at something.
Right. All right. Thanks, man. I just appreciate this. This is great. So if you want to follow David, you can. He's Morland IV on Instagram. Any other place that we might want to catch up with you?
Yeah. If anybody needs any golf lessons, reach out to the Morland4 at gmail.com. And I do a lot of online stuff also with OnForm. And if you ever need any help with your golf game, I'm at Oakdale. Reach out and be glad to help you.
All right. Thanks so much, David. Appreciate this. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
All right. When we come back, Brad Faxon talks about the keys to putting and one of his favorite victories. In 1992, the best locally owned restoration companies came together with one goal: to make disaster recovery better for Canadians. And to this day, DKI remains one of the only 100% Canadian-owned disaster restoration groups in the market. Fire, flood, or storm damage. When things go wrong, the right help makes all the difference. With the right tools and local expertise, we handle everything from emergency response to full-scale restoration, getting homes and businesses back on track the right way. Because a home is more than four walls, a business is more than a building, and recovery is about more than repairs. When you choose DKI, you're choosing a company that's put Canada first since 1992. Locally owned, nationally backed, Canadian through and through. Addiction Rehab Toronto, Toronto's #1 alcohol and drug treatment center, saving lives, reuniting families. The only treatment center in the province to offer medical detox, treatment, sober living, and lifetime aftercare all in one place. Our unique and specialized programs are designed to equip our clients with the tools to successfully lead a life of dignity, respect, and purpose. Let us help save your life or your loved one's life. Call today for more information or to facilitate an intervention. 1-855-787-2424 or visit addictionrehabtoronto.ca. Hearing loss doesn't have to mean missing out. At Hear Canada, we help you take charge with a complimentary hearing assessment, because confidence starts with clarity. Discover hearing aids, accessories, and expert care at your local hearing center. Not sure where to start? Our Hearing Health Guide has the basics for you or a loved one. It worked for us. Book your free assessment today at hearcanada.com. Conditions may apply. Faxon was a putting machine. 3 times he was top putter on the tour. In 2000, he set the single season record, averaging 1.7 putts per green. I believe that record still stands. He talks about his process, which includes a limited amount of thinking.
People think that a process, you have to think about your process, or you have to think about getting in a zone. I think those things should naturally come to you. Now, naturally might be the wrong word, but they will come to you if you do it enough. Or if you get in a routine, you have a routine that you don't have to think about. I know I'm doing it, but the purpose of a routine is so you can hit the best shot, have the best chance to have a putt to go in, and I got pretty good at that.
Faxon was an 8-time winner on the PGA Tour. He also won on the Champions Tour. But one of his favorite victories came down under. And then, of course, there was an almost win at the Canadian Open.
In '93, I got paired with Greg Norman in the tournament while he was #1 player in the world. We played in a course called Metropolitan, which was in Melbourne, where some of the best courses in the world are. And I won the tournament, putted exceptionally well. And to have that trophy, the Stonehaven Cup with some of the greatest names in golf on it, that was a pretty big honor.
Winning a national title in Australia. Of course, you almost won a national title in Canada. Tell us about that.
Jeez.
2003, I believe.
It was 2003 to Bob Tway. I lost in a playoff at Hamilton. Some of the best golf I ever played. And then I remember distinctly I had in the playoff about a 6-footer for a birdie on this par 5 where I hit an incredible bunker shot. And I started thinking before the putt, thinking the wrong way. What I was going to say during the trophy presentation, and I missed the putt by a mile, and just like, I want to start that all again.
Discover the secret to timeless vitality at Renew Medical Center in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Our specialists unravel the science of aging, tailoring plans to defy its effects. Experience cutting-edge regenerative therapies such as stem cells and exosomes, addressing aging at its core.
It's a wonderful spot, and I highly recommend it for whatever you may need, whether you just want to feel better, you want to look better, have basically a quality of life, just to ramp it up a little bit as we age.
Liberate yourself from aging-related concerns. where accountability, technology, and passion for regenerative medicine converge. Begin your path to peak health and wellness with us. Schedule your appointment today at renewpv.com and elevate your quality of life.
Parents, what's the biggest fear for kids 10 to 14? A future they think they can't handle. At Believe, Become, Be You, we know confidence in the future is a habit we can build. Our course doesn't just prepare kids for the future, it seeds them with skills they will use now. For a limited time, the I Believe in Me Foundation is offering the first 1,000 kids and their parents 1 year free access. This priceless opportunity will save you over $2,000. This isn't just a course. It's a journey in developing life-enhancing skills that will grow with your child, fostering gritty minds, creative futures, and better bonds. Get signed up now at BelieveBecomeBeYou.com. That's BelieveBecomeBeYou.com.
And we want to thank all the folks who make the show possible. These are friends, trusted business associates, and all-around great people. We highly recommend them all. Thank you for your support of Canadian sports. A reminder that the show is available on iTunes, Spotify, Breaker, wherever you get your podcast from. Also, you can check out the show on YouTube. All of our past great shows are on there. Clips, shorts. Like and subscribe. It's absolutely free. Our socials, at Joe Swiss Tilley on Instagram and Threads, Joe Tilley's Great Canadian Sports Show on Facebook. Thanks again, once again, to David Morland IV for being on the program. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. MNP, a leading Canadian national accounting, tax, and business accounting firm. MNP proudly serves and responds to the need of their clients in the private, public, and nonprofit sectors. Through partner-led engagements, MNP provides a collaborative, cost-effective approach to do business and personal strategies to help people and organizations to succeed across the country and around the world. With local offices in Oshawa, Mississauga, Burlington, and more, their team is here to support you. Visit mnp.ca today to learn more. Brian Gribben Insurance Planning, helping you solidify your financial future.
At BGIP, what we do that's unique in the marketplace is we show people how to spend and enjoy their money in their early years of retirement without the fear of running out. Also, we're able to do this without you having to change financial advisors. Please look us up at bgip.ca today. Let's book a 30-minute phone call to see how we can bring value to you and your family in your planning.
Call Brian today for all your retirement needs. We did. 905-686-5678. I'm Joe Tilley, and this fall I want you to join me for the adventure of a lifetime in Peru. We're talking about a 9-day guided journey through some of the most awe-inspiring sights on Earth, starting at just $19.99. We'll explore Lima, Peru's lively capital. You'll experience rich history, beautiful architecture, and world-class cuisine. You'll also wander the vibrant streets of Cusco, where Inca heritage blends seamlessly with colonial charm, and visit the stunning Sacred Valley, known for its dramatic landscapes, ancient Inca ruins, and charming traditional villages. And the big moment? We'll ride the scenic Inca train to spend a night in Machu Picchu village, waking up early to witness a magical morning light over the ancient citadel, a once-in-a-lifetime experience you'll never forget. Craving more? Extend your trip with a stay at a luxury Amazon lodge, or visit Lake Titicaca and meet the locals on the floating islands. This all-inclusive package covers international and domestic flights, expert guided tours, entrance fees, and stays at hand-picked hotels. And here's the kicker. Book now to receive a free upgrade to first-class boutique-style hotels and a direct flight from Toronto on selected dates. Don't miss it. Let's discover the magic of Peru together. Rooted in 60 years of tradition, Sleepy Hollow is a private golf club with a friendly community of members just minutes from Toronto. With mature trees and rolling fairways, Sleepy Hollow provides a challenging and enjoyable experience for passionate golfers. Enjoy great golf, amazing dining, and a picturesque patio second to none. Visit sleepyhollowcountryclub.com.